The swastika symbol is a good symbol or a hateful symbol. Whenever the swastika comes up, what is the first thing that comes to mind? The holy symbol or Hitler? World War II and all that murder and hatred? But the essence of the story goes much further than that. Today we are going to go on a historical journey together, from ancient India to Nazi Germany, to see how a holy symbol became one of the most hated icons in human history. The story of the swastika began thousands of years ago, long before anyone had heard of Adolf Hitler. Swastika is a Sanskrit word that means happiness or blessing. So when we say swastika, it means that which is good or blessing and good luck. In fact, this symbol is in the form of a cross with its arms bent 90 degrees in clockwise or counterclockwise. This symbol was also found in India, Nepal, Tibet, China, Japan, and even ancient Iran. What does it mean? Does that mean that the people of the East had good intentions with the symbol? It was a symbol of the sun, a symbol of life, positive energy, movement, growth, and the cycle of nature. And this symbol is still in Buddhist and Hindu temples. Sometimes when you go to India or Thailand, you may see a sign that looks like a swastika, but the person is praying, not because it was from the Nazis. Now, let me tell you about the symbol itself, not just its name. Because when you see this swastika, you will realize that it is not only for India and Buddhism. It is somehow one of the symbols that the human mind in every corner of the world has drawn to itself. It is as if there was something inherent in the cultures that unconsciously loved this shape. For example, in the Sumerian and Mesopotamian civilizations, they found the symbol on seals, jars, and statues. It was probably a sign of the rotation of the sun or the cycle of nature for them. Now let's go to ancient Greece. There are designs similar to the swastika on buildings and clothes. Even in Greek, they have a name for it, gamblidun, because it is made of 4 letters, gamma. Now let's go further to the Roman Empire, where they used to put the symbol on their pavements and tiles. Now let's go up north of the earth, Scandinavia. There, in the graves of the Vikings and their swords, there is also a swastika. For them, it was probably a symbol of power or protection or the cycle of life. But even more strangely, in America, the Aztec Indians and the Hopi Indians all had their own kind of swastika. For them, it was a symbol of wind, rain, and the 4 sacred directions of the earth. What does it mean? That is, people who were thousands of kilometers apart, without knowing each other, used this symbol, and mostly with a positive meaning. But alas, just because the Nazis were more famous, the public's mental image of this symbol changed. Now we get to the point. In the early 20th century, a group of racists in Europe were looking for a pure Aryan origin for themselves. They said that we came from the Aryans came from India and Iran, so we should have an Aryan symbol too. So what did they find? Yes, the swastika. They thought that this symbol was a symbol of white supremacy. Hitler came in the book Mein-Kampf and said that this symbol was a symbol of the Aryan race's struggle against the Jews and the communists and the rest of the world. The swastika became the logo of the Nazi Party, with the red background, white circle, and black swastika in the middle. From that moment on, it became a symbol of nightmare wherever it was seen. It meant torture, war, genocide, and terror. Later, this symbol immediately spread throughout Europe on flags, uniforms, buildings, even on the coffins of German soldiers. When the world saw that millions of disabled Gypsy, Jews, prisoners of war, and political opponents were killed under the symbol, that symbol of joy became the most infamous icon of the 20th century. Even after the war, when the Allied army defeated Germany, the first thing they did was to take down the swastika flag. And even in Germany, today, using this symbol is illegal. Now, here's an important point. The sacred swastika is completely different from the Nazi swastikas. The Eastern sacred swastika is usually only counterclockwise, but the Nazi swastikas are clockwise. In addition, the Eastern symbol is usually associated with religious decorations, such as sunflowers or circles of light. But the Nazis appeared in strong black, red, and threatening colors. Some people confuse these when they're different in both meaning and appearance. For example, if you go to a Buddhist temple in Japan and see a swastika on the door, it is a symbol of light, not Nazism. Well, anyway, now many countries, especially in Europe, have banned the use of the Nazi swastika. For example, in Germany, any use of the swastika is prohibited. What does that mean? That is, even if you put it on your clothes or a movie poster or a wall, you will be fined or even imprisoned. There is only one way it is allowed. If it is in a movie or a work of art that aims to show history, and that is with official permission, because the Germans still have a historical fear of the return of fascism. Then let's go to France. The situation is the same there. The public use of the swastika is prohibited because it is considered a symbol of hatred and racism. But in India or Nepal, it is different because the swastika is still a religious symbol. You go to every temple, at every wedding. On the door of every newly opened shop, there's a swastika. Nobody objects because it is sacred to them. In Japan, this symbol is also used freely, but because foreigners misunderstand, new Japanese maps try to remove or replace the swastika because they use that symbol in their maps to mark Buddhist temples. In America, their constitution is free speech, so they can't ban the swastika. But if you put it on your clothes and go to work, you're unlikely to be fired on the first day. People are sensitive, especially if they think you're defending the Nazis. But a foreigner doesn't know. He might be mistaken, because many people only saw the Nazi version and think that the whole swastika means evil. There is also a lot of other debate about whether this symbol should be abandoned altogether or not. Some say that there should be a difference between the original version and the Nazi version. Some say that the name has been corrupted and will no longer be valid. The debate is still hot on social media. One thing that is very interesting in history is that the meaning of symbols does not remain constant. Something may be sacred one day and hated the next, like the swastika, which changed from a symbol of good to a symbol of evil. But it is not alone in this path. For example, the skull and crossbones, which many people use in clothing design and tattoos today. Once upon a time, it was only for pirates or the symbol for poison on a pharmacy bottle. What has it become now? A symbol of courage, danger, or even style. Or a five-pointed star.
In Egypt and Babylonia, this symbol represented the balance of nature, science, and harmony among the elements. But then, with the arrival of the church and satanic cults, it became a symbol of fear and darkness. Even the eye in the pyramid that we have seen on the US dollar since childhood. Once upon a time in ancient Egypt, it was a symbol of divine protection. But now everyone thinks there is a secret behind it. Some say that it is a symbol of the Illuminati. Some say it controls the world. Similarly, in some cultures, red is the color of love and life. In others, it is the color of blood, sin, and communism. What does this mean? Symbols are speechless. They're neutral. It is we the people who give them meaning. If history changes, their meaning changes. The swastika is one of the biggest victims of this change in meaning. Remember that not every symbol has a meaning. It depends on when, where, and for what it is used. The swastika is a symbol that is thousands of years old. At one time they prayed with it for blessings and light, but some came and turned it into an instrument of terror. In essence, the swastika became a kind of victim of history, a sacred symbol that was given a bad name by the Nazis. Now the choice is with the people. Either return to their true roots or remain forever a reminder of the darkest part of human history. So friends, now that you have heard all this, if one day in India or Thailand you see a swastika painted on the wall of a temple, don't be afraid. Don't think that the Nazis are there. On the other hand, if you see someone using the Nazi version somewhere, know that they are reopening an old wound. In fact, symbols do not speak for themselves. We give them meaning. So we should not let a symbol of light remain forever in the shadow of darkness. If you have been with us until this video, I'd like to thank you for liking the video. And if you like this type of videos, be sure to press the subscribe button.